Under the thunderous roar of missiles and drone attacks, a relentless force surges forward unfazed. This is Ukraine, the underdog nation refusing to bow to the mighty Russian onslaught. Today, we enter the epicenter of a monumental clash redefining the world order. Amidst an unprecedented torrent of devastation, Ukraine's daring counteroffensive against the Russian invaders presses on. The dramatic spectacle of David versus Goliath rages on as the globe's gaze narrows in. What could this mean for the future of Ukraine, Russia, and the world? Stay tuned as we peel back the layers of this intense theater of war where every move could change the course of history. As winter loomed, Ukraine was under an escalating Russian offensive, which targeted not only military assets but also civilian infrastructure, particularly the energy sector. Russia's strategy took a drastic turn on October 10, 2022, when it deployed a massive salvo of 84 cruise missiles and 24 suicide drones, decimating Ukraine's cities and causing significant civilian casualties. By mid-December, over 1,000 Russian strikes had left half of Ukraine's power grid dysfunctional, depriving millions of essential utilities amid harsh winter conditions. The World Health Organization labeled this the most significant attack on a nation's health since World War II. Despite these adversities, Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Volodymyr V. Gavrilov, backed by President Zelensky, remained undeterred, and the Ukrainian population echoed their resilience. Amid international condemnation of the attacks, Russia stuck to its military doctrine aimed at demoralizing the Ukrainian populace and leadership, an objective that, thus far, has proven unfruitful. Moreover, the Ukrainian military effectively intercepted most kamikaze drones launched by Russia. As the conflict rages on, the Ukrainian spirit, epitomized by leaders like Gavrilov, remains unyielding in the face of adversities. Emerging from the shadows of devastation, a new Ukraine stands resolute, ready to reclaim what's theirs. But can a nation under siege launch an effective counteroffensive? Emboldened by unwavering international support and the steadfast spirit of its citizens, Ukraine is on the verge of launching a counteroffensive that aims to reclaim its territories. A plan shaped by the courage and tenacity of its people, the counteroffensive intends to push back against the Russian occupation, as asserted by President Volodymyr Zelensky. In the face of repeated missile and drone attacks that have rocked the nation, Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Volodymyr V. Gavrilov remains confident. Despite Russia's relentless barrages, particularly of ballistic missiles targeted at urban centers such as Kyiv, Gavrilov insists that Ukraine's plans for a counteroffensive remain unaffected. The assaults, he contends, are intended to halt Ukraine's progress and disrupt decision-making centers, yet they have largely failed to deter Ukraine's resolve. Gavrilov describes Russia's heavy reliance on ballistic missiles in May as a last strategic resort, highlighting the effectiveness of Ukraine's air defense systems that have successfully intercepted over 90% of these attacks. The advanced air defense systems, including Patriot missile batteries from the United States, Germany, and NASAMS and IRIS-T from other Western allies have proved pivotal in defending Ukraine. The lack of effectiveness of Russian ballistic missiles against these modern systems surprised Russia significantly. Despite the ongoing onslaught, Zelensky announced that Ukraine is prepared to commence its highly anticipated counteroffensive, with Gavrilov asserting that the missile barrages have not impacted their timeline. He exudes unflinching determination, declaring, "Nothing can stop our efforts, our desire, and our confidence that we'll win this war." He adds that Ukraine will start the counteroffensive with the ambition to liberate our territories this year. They also expect NATO allies to provide a clear roadmap to membership and guarantees of security during the country's transition period on the path to membership. As Ukraine gears up for its counteroffensive, it continues to equip itself with the latest military hardware. Gavrilov praised the recent acquisition of British Storm Shadow cruise missiles, which have not missed any targets, and expressed that adding modern fighter aircraft such as F-16s would bolster the country's air defense capabilities. Drone attacks on civilian targets are already underway in Moscow, with nobody stepping up to claim responsibility. Could this be part of the Ukrainian offensive or a false flag operation by the Russians? As the escalation rises, we can't help but ask, could all of this have been avoided? There's more to this conflict than what meets the eye. Has there ever been different options? Former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett alleges that U.S. and Western allies effectively thwarted his peace-brokering efforts between Russia and Ukraine. During Bennett's March 2022 diplomatic mission, he claimed major concessions were secured from both parties. Russia dropped demands for Ukraine's disarmament, denazification, and Zelensky's removal, while Zelensky agreed not to seek NATO membership. However, according to Bennett, Western leaders ultimately chose to confront Russia rather than negotiate, blocking his mediation attempts. Negotiations continued after Bennett's efforts, almost reaching a tentative deal. Yet increased Western pressure, including appeals from Boris Johnson for Zelensky not to negotiate, reportedly led to their failure. The other side of the coin suggests that strategic considerations from the West might have impeded diplomatic resolution in the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Whatever may be unfolding behind the curtains, one thing is sure: this conflict isn't just Ukraine versus Russia. So, what does the future hold? Amid an ongoing conflict, Ukraine looks towards NATO, seeking a defined pathway to membership and substantial security assurances. With the forthcoming counteroffensive, Ukraine might instigate a brutal Russian response, encouraging further international support. As casualties mount, a war of attrition looms, with victory hinging on resolve, strategy, resources, and global backing. Future predictions for the conflict remain uncertain but likely volatile and bloody. Still, Ukraine's aspirations for NATO membership signify hope for victory. The conflict's outcome remains balanced on a knife's edge, with repercussions expected to ripple globally for years. What's your take? Will Ukraine's counteroffensive turn the tide? And where does Ukraine's NATO ambition lead them? This is a high-stakes game with no easy way out for either parties. Share your thoughts in the comments below.